Hi, race fans. Welcome in. Sunrise Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker. Coming off of Father's Day weekend and an announcing doubleheader for me last weekend as I was at the Tomah Sparta Raceway with the Great Northern Sportsman Series, and they put a good show on. Not only did the GNSS put a good show on, I was really fascinated by the modifieds. Bill Doc Niles and I went out and made an appearance after I did some announcing, and we had both commented on what that modified show looked like. 14 to 16 is what they're anticipating for this weekend at the Tomah Sparta Raceway, so good luck to those guys. Also, the Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway was Father's Day weekend. We're going to take you back, as we normally do, to start the show for the last two laps of the races at La Crosse as we get ready for today's program. Also going to show you some footage from Tomah Sparta Raceway, and on the program today, late model driver Justin Zmyewski, who is the only elected official at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Believe it or not, he's a Houston County Commissioner. Didn't find that out until the hot, sweaty interview from last weekend. So we're going to take you back right now. It's NASCAR late model action at the La Crosse Speedway. I asked Mike Carlson on the track before the race if the case comes out where he and Steve are bumper to bumper like they were 2 weekends ago, if he'd let his dad win because it was Father's Day. Well, then he said, well, no, I'm not going to do that. But then he said, maybe I will. Well, it came down to those two one more time. This time, Steve had about a 2 to 3 car advantage as we headed into the last laps. Here's the last two of this race right here. Mike said he had a couple of shots, just didn't really trust his car, and his dad was holding a really tight inside line, unlike 2 weeks ago where Steve tried to go up and it was pretty greasy up there and couldn't come back down. And it was a big Father's Day gift for Steve Carlson this time as he tops his son Mike in the late model 25-lap feature, brought to you by one of our favorite potato chips, Old Dutch, by the way. It was kind of back and forth like that. Mike really did have a hard charge to get the pass. And I asked Mike after the race, okay, did you let your dad win that race? Because he might have had something in that crate motor. Wasn't the case. He said my dad was just too fast, and that car was set up big time as he comes across and gets that checkered flag. Had a chance to talk to the top three, Steve Carlson, Mike Carlson, and Adam Degenhardt after the race.
Well, I tell you, you look awfully spent.
You know, it's not very cold in there.
I feel bad. I got no heat there, no cool in the tower, but for you guys down here, man, hats off. What a race that was. The early part of that race was such a log jam. Were you spending quite a bit to try to find some kind of clean air?
I just couldn't get the car to turn the first few laps on the outside. It was just real greasy, no bite at all, so needed to get down and then kind of work everything back forward.
Good, strong finish, though. I mean, that's what you wanted to do this year. You were looking at a championship. You're looking at every night, and another third-place top podium finish.
Yeah, not too bad for us. Hi to everybody over in Wisconsin, Kenworth Corner. I'm glad we could be in the top three for them. Put on a hell of a show in the dash, so can't ask for much more.
All right, third place tonight. How about it for Adam Degenhardt? Second place tonight. How about it for Mike Carlson? All right, so you knew when the checkered flag was coming out, you knew Dyker was going to ask you. You told us earlier you might let your dad win for Father's Day. Was that the case?
No, not really. I was kind of bottled up in traffic there, and I just couldn't quite get going. And then one of the tires kind of acted up, so I was just kind of hanging on for a while there. And it was good to have Father's Day anyways for him, but maybe we'll come back next week and we'll try to hit it harder.
Each and every week you say you learned something, and obviously you did again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't come out here and learn, you didn't try hard enough.
Already a strong second place finish for Mike Carlson. Here comes your feature race winner, another one for Steve Carlson. Number one, happy Father's Day. Now I want to ask you too, because Mike said earlier tonight, I might let my dad win for Father's Day. I don't think that was the case, because that was one of the strongest runs you've had in a couple weeks.
Yeah, don't you believe that. If Mike could pass me, he would.
Talk about that race there. I mean, lap traffic was coming into play. How hard is it to look ahead at the lap traffic and then behind you to see where Mike was and how he was playing it?
Well, yeah, the lap cars were getting in the way a little bit, but at the start of that race, them guys up front, they were running pretty good. Cam and the O2 car, they were doing a really good job.
Well, on behalf of us all here at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, congratulations, Steve. Happy Father's Day. Steve Carlson, feature race winner, ladies and gentlemen.
So there's your top three with your late models, Steve Carlson, Mike Carlson, and Adam Degenhardt. Now the sportsmen, we had a chance to go on the track and talk with some drivers as well. First off, we're going to show the last 2 laps of this one. Bad Brad Worthen from Sparta has win number 2 under his belt. Believe it or not, folks, I found out today Worthen is driving the only Ford in the entire sportsman's class. That Mustang, it's a 2016 ABR body, now has powered him into victory lane twice this year. Here's what he had to do to finish this race. Remember his first feature win this year? He had to go through caution after caution after caution. It was pretty much deja vu as he had to do it again. And this time, Nick Clements. It wasn't the first race, it was Bachman and Worthen. This time it was Worthen and Clements who was making his way through the field. And Clements even said when the race was over with, he had an awfully strong car. He was kind of surprised he couldn't catch him right there in the waiting laps, as you'll see right here. And Worthen again with that Mustang, very proud of what he's put together there. Not as high funded as a lot of the teams are at the Speedway, but that wheelman's getting it done. Had a chance to pop on the track afterwards. Your top 3 here. Justin Mulliken, what a race he had. Took 2nd place. It was an outstanding run for him. And Randy Humfeld took 3rd. Let's hear what the top 3 had to say.
Real good, number 1, to be sitting up here. You bought a new car off of Gilster this past winter. I know you've had some struggles with it every time I talk to you in the pits. Got to feel good.
Yeah, it does. We've been fighting this thing all year. It still isn't very great, but we put the engine back in it. We had to do some freshening to it from what came with it, so we had a different engine in before, and we just put this one back in, and it really runs.
Tell you, this is kind of a different bunch of drivers when you win the track championship and stepped away for a little bit. When you look at the emergence of Bachman and Clements and Mulliken and Worthen, you're running with a bunch of different characters this year.
Yeah, if you're out of it for a couple years, 2-3 years, it's a lot of stuff changes. You think you can kind of get back in and just go again, but a lot of it is different.
Alrighty, 3rd place finish tonight, Randy Humfeld. Best finish for this man right here on the season. What about it for Justin Mulliken? Well, I tell you what, before the races tonight, I just taped a segment of my TV show with Justin Mulliken. Justin said he doesn't watch points. He doesn't really care about it. He's just racing for fun. Did that change a little bit now that you're up here?
No.
I didn't figure so. Talk about that race, man.
It was a fun one.
You had to battle through 2 restarts. You know Humfeld's sitting back there. You know Clements is coming. You know Bachman's coming. Hesselbar, I mean, all these guys are on their way. What do you think of those last 3 laps?
What I was thinking actually was on the first restart, Brad got me in 1, and I wasn't going to let that happen again. So here we are.
Talk about your sponsors. It's been the first time we've had you up here front here this year.
Yep, I got to thank Architectural Metal Specialists, Custom Design Photography, CA Tuned, and D and Paul Euler.
How about that? 2nd place finish tonight for Justin Mulliken. 2nd time in 3 weeks he's been up here in his Mustang. Bad Brad Worthen. Now, I'll tell you what, you've talked about some tough battles here. A couple of weeks ago, we almost had deja vu with you and Clements, and he was coming again. Take us through that very first restart.
Well, I knew when we come to yellow, I was dedicated to the outside of going to Justin. I thought I could get a jump on him, and then we come back off yellow, we go to green, and we come back to yellow again and have to jump back out to the outside of him. I guess I got to say, thanks to Nick, he probably could have drove straight through me there, but I got in a little hot, had to put her on the binders, and man, I tell you, I ain't here to make friends. I'm here for the W.
And he's got 2 of them on the year. How about it for Bad Brad Worthen?
And when it congratulates Nick Clements and Steve Bachman, they finished 4th and 5th. That was a very interesting finish there. Worthen 2 wins in the year. Bachman still winless. But you got to remember, Todd Korsch was winless a couple of years ago when he won the track championship. It was nice to see Randy Humfeld finally get the car he's been struggling with all year in a podium finish. When we come back, we're going to take you to the Sparta Tomah Raceway where Bill Duck Niles had a chance to hang out last weekend. That's coming up next on KQEG TV.
The next time you visit the west coast of Wisconsin, there's a hotel in La Crosse you need to check into. Here's General Manager Roxanne North.
We want to treat every guest with the best that we have to offer, and that starts with the front desk all the way through the housekeeping department. My general philosophy in life is I treat my staff the way I want to be treated, and I pass that on that we treat our guests that way.
For reservations, visit the website, settlein.com.
People come here, we want them to feel like family.
Have you tried the great lunch buffet at Pizza Hut? Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30, Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona offers you an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for just $5.99. All the salad, pasta, breadsticks, and of course, delicious piping hot pizza you can eat. Want to try something really special? Pizza Hut is now featuring a bacon-stuffed crust pizza. Apple smoked bacon with melty cheese and stuffed in the crust. Just $12.99 for one topping at your La Crosse and Winona Pizza Hut. Call for delivery or order online. Pizza Hut.
Whatever your perfect temperature, you'll enjoy consistent comfort with the heating and air conditioning systems homeowners rank #1. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Get up to $1,100 off on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating or visit AmericanStandardAir.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist.
Welcome back, race fans. I'm Dan Dyker, the voice here on KQEG TV, getting you set for tonight's races at the La Crosse Speedway, or this weekend's races. Of course, big fireworks show going on at Tomah this weekend. They expect a lot of modifieds. La Crosse Speedway, another big show coming up this weekend as we get ready for the Great Northern Sportsman Series right around the corner. The Tundras are coming up on July 1st, and of course, Smashorama on July 2nd. Back to last weekend's races, and let's run the tape right now. The last two of this one right here. Jacinda Paff has found herself in this position before many times, leading a race late with Andy Moore coming out of nowhere to put the pressure on. And that's exactly what we saw right here as Jacinda Paff was holding on a couple of loops right there in three we thought she was going to have, and it held the back end down. Andy Moore just wasn't going to get it done tonight. And Jacinda Paff back in the winner's circle. And that's the strongest she's ran all year. She had some problems in her car earlier this year, so then she swapped motors and put hers in Adam Moore's car, put it back in her car, and then Adam Moore came out. Well, Jacinda Paff finally got some things figured out, and as she takes the checkered flags. It was kind of neat also to add that during the late models, it was Steve Carlson and Mike Carlson, both with a podium finish. Well, what a better way for the Father's Day weekend to end than the Thunderstocks, where Sean Paff was there, greeted his daughter Jacinda in the winner's circle, and what a kind of a fitting way that was to end Father's Day weekend. For the Hornets, they had a great night as well. There was some really good racing going on here. The Thicky brothers are getting it done again. Patrick and Garrett. Garrett was really ripping his way through the field. Started a little bit further back than everybody else, and a lot of the faster cars were sitting up front, and he had to watch what Patrick was doing. Still got himself a podium finish, but Mark Bornitz, we say it every single time. He drives a Ford Probe. On the back of his bumper, it says, "Game over. You've been probed." And just like Jesse was making sure I got the probed part right for the car, that's exactly what he did. He's done it at La Crosse. Steve Bornitz took that car up to the MTS dirt track a couple years ago and did it again. And Mark Bornitz, as you see here, crosses the finish line as he takes top honors. Matter of fact, Bornitz got a clean sweep on Saturday night. Also, Pat Tickey finished second and puts himself right there in the points battle. So a couple more races here real quick to talk about. Pastor Andy, our La Crosse Speedway track pastor, won the first pastor race of the night for the first time ever in a Thunderstock. The professional pastors were in Thunderstocks on Saturday night, while the other pastors were in Hornet cars. Donald Baumstead from the Berrien Baptist Church in Galesville took home the win in the second faster pastor race. Out to the Tomah Sparta Raceway we go. Greater than the Sportsman Series. We had a great car count up there last weekend as we mixed it up with some of the Tomah crowd. And Dave Truitt, we're going to share the last two I hear. Nobody really wanted to jump to the outside. It was single file with like cars 1 through 9, 1 through 10. And that was pretty much because, well, everybody knew how fast Truitt was. And if you wasted some time to get to the outside, Truitt would just take off on you. And some of the other drivers that were riding in the top 5 or 6 had never been at Tomah before, so they didn't know what to expect when you get into 1 and 2 where there's no wall. 3 and 4 can look kind of deceiving as well, and 4 kind of closes down on you as you hit the front straightaway. And Dave Truitt got it mastered one more time. He was followed by Michael Gilliman, who was not only our quick time qualifier, he broke the GNSS track record on Friday night at Tomah. And Ted Reavers, who was a late entry into the GNSS race at Tomah, he ended up picking up 3rd place. Let's go on the track and find out what the top 3 had to say at Tomah.
Ted was a late entrant into the Cranberry Cup event this year, and the first thing you look at when you come out, a little bit of damage.
Oh, well, that's good enough. We'll take third place over that. That's all right.
Talk about that race right there. I mean, there were a couple of times that you were trying to get over Jason Tomah. You just couldn't make it fit either one way or the other.
I kept following him to the outside to gain a little track position and hoping something come up underneath, and kind of worked out a little bit after some wrecks, but it works.
Talk about racing at Tomah Sparta Raceway.
I like it. It's like Raceway was. It's difficult. It's really fun, though. I like it.
Comes out of Minnesota. How about a third place finish for Ted Reavers? Second tonight, representing one of the Team Dean's drivers here tonight. Second place going out to Jason Tomah. You know, I love asking this at different racetracks. You're behind a hotshot driver. You're going through caution after caution after caution. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we don't need any more cautions. Let's get this race done. It's hot in here.
Talk about this machine tonight. You held a pretty steady line. I mean, once you got through the field of cars and you got third, then you got second, it was pretty steady from there on out.
Yeah, the Dean Satellite and Security Joe's painting car was pretty awesome tonight. Not quite like a Truett car, but it was handled really well for only being a second time here. So congrats to Dave Truett. That's awesome. Their crew, their amazing crew. But I'd like to thank everybody that supports me and comes out and watches. Thank you, fans, for coming out. This is awesome.
All right, second place tonight for Jason Tomah. Winner of the Cranberry Cup 40-lap feature event. How about it for Dave Truett? Woo! Talk about that one.
Yeah, I got a little rough there for a little bit, but car was good. It came around. Thanks to my crew and everyone that helped, we made a lot of changes and we made them all right. But the car was pretty good. It was to the point where I didn't have to run, wide open. And it's easy to save on the brakes and save on the tires when you're like that. But hats off to my crew, car owner Bob Sauer, my chassis builder Derek Squires. He's probably up at turn 5, I'm sure, right now. My engine builder Jeff Burrows. The thing ran flawless. And thanks for all the fans, the girlfriend Jess. Thanks to all the dads out there. If it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be here. We used to own this track back in the 80s and 90s, so that's kind of how we figured it out. But thanks to everyone for coming. It was a long day, but we got her done.
One more quick question. Things kind of change next Friday night. We go from a short track here to Wisconsin's fastest half mile, the Madison International Raceway. Your thoughts?
Well, change some gears, change some springs, and try her again, Dan.
All righty, he's got the Cranberry Cup one more time from Wisconsin, Dave Truett.
So again, congratulations to Dave Truett going on and mastering the Tomah Sparta Raceway. Outstanding crowd, too. The parking lot jam-packed. The food was great. Still like the snap casings on those hot dogs they have there. Chuck Hausman, the promoter, was kind of giving me the skinny on where they come from, but I couldn't remember where he said they were made, but those were really, really, really good, and the beer was cold afterwards. So check out Tomah Sparta Raceway on Facebook. You can also find them on the internet. They've got a big weekend planned, Friday night fireworks, along with all of their supporting classes. When we come back, we're going to take it back to La Crosse. Did a whole handful of hot and sweaty interviews last weekend. First up, late model driver Justin Zmyewski coming up next on 7 Rivers Racing.
Whatever your perfect temperature, you'll enjoy consistent comfort with the heating and air conditioning systems homeowners rank #1. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Get up to $1,100 off on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating or visit AmericanStandardAir.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist. Have you tried the great lunch buffet at Pizza Hut? Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30, Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona offers you an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for just $5.99. All the salad, pasta, breadsticks, and of course, delicious piping hot pizza you can eat. Want to try something really special? Pizza Hut is now featuring a bacon-stuffed crust pizza. Apple smoked bacon with melty cheese and stuffed in the crust. Just $12.99 for one topping at your La Crosse and Winona Pizza Hut. Call for delivery or order online. Pizza Hut. The next time you visit the west coast of Wisconsin, there's a hotel in La Crosse you need to check into. Here's General Manager Roxanne North.
We want to treat every guest with the best that we have to offer, and that starts with the front desk all the way through the housekeeping department. My general philosophy in life is I treat my staff the way I want to be treated, and I pass that on that we treat our guests that way.
For reservations, visit the website settlein.com.
People come here, we want them to feel like family.
Welcome back. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. Did a lot of interviews at the Crosse Speedway over the past couple of weeks as we like to get out of the studio and sometimes get here to the track. Of course, we can't get a race car in the studio, and Rick likes to get that camera off the tripod and show you some good views of what some of these stock cars look like. Next gentleman we're going to have on, we've never had on the program, and just even learn some interesting things about him right now as we've been standing here. Drives the number 97 Quick Trip NASCAR late model. This is Justin Zmyewski from Houston, Minnesota. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? It's good to see you.
This guy, I tell you what, you could have the worst day. I walk by here, and him and his dad have always got smiles. I make my rounds every single Saturday. I make the same rounds. I walk by, if they're sitting in there, they've got a smile like you wouldn't believe. And I tell you what, as an announcer, man, that really says a lot.
Well, I appreciate that. I guess, you like to take life not so serious and have fun, and that's what it's all about, So, yeah, we like to have a good time, and gosh, you're out here racing, beautiful day like this, why not smile,
No, I only remember you being here maybe the past 2 or 3 years. What is your total extent of racing?
I started racing when I was about 8 years old in go-karts, and we were really heavy in dirt racing, raced all over the country. When I turned 15, we started running asphalt road course, running Formula 125 shifter karts and stuff like that, and then I got into Formula Dodge, ran that for a while, went to college, played football, and ran track in college, and racing kind of got put on the back burner, and then I got into flying airplanes for a while and did that for quite a few years, and then got back into racing, got back on the dirt side of things, kind of our roots, and looking to move up. And we've never raced asphalt before, and only half hour, 35 minutes from the house. We said, why not? So we changed over from dirt to asphalt, and it's been a steep learning curve, but we're getting the hang of it slowly but surely.
Justin kind of was a hit-or-miss driver last year. We saw him maybe 3 or 4 times. I know that you guys had a big wreck as well, and when he came out this year, really didn't know what to expect. And then I find something out as I was just talking before we start taping. There's a kind of a good reason why you had to be hit or miss beyond the accident. You're probably the only elected official here at the racetrack.
Yeah, it is. I'm the county commissioner. I have been. I'm on my second term now, middle of my second term, and it's good. I'm happy to do it. I like to serve the people of the community, and it's been a good experience. But yeah, with the racing, being an elected official and independent, my own boss and stuff, it helps because these cars, you got to put a lot of time and effort into these things, and you need a lot of time. And between the county commissioner stuff and the racing, it's full time.
I got to ask, a lot of these guys out here, their full-time jobs are mechanics, so they already know what they do with their cars and how they put their job into their racing. As an elected official, what can you use from that for racing?
Well, politics. We know that there's politics in everything, So it's just there's probably really not a lot that you can carry over into the racing side of things. But the people skills, interacting with people like we are right now and stuff. Obviously it's big, and people that go up, you can see those that good people skills, good interviewers and stuff. It's a skill that everybody needs to have. But other than that, there's probably not a whole lot.
Talk about this late model class. I mean, you've got to rub elbows with the likes of Don Thunder Turner this year, who's never missed an Oktoberfest, 47 years. You've got Steve Carlson parked right behind you. You've got Sean Path that sits back here. Do you ever kind of sit back when you're in your hauler, you're in the chute, getting ready to race, go, I'm racing against some of the best that Wisconsin's ever seen?
Oh, absolutely. My dad and I talk about that extensively. We kind of get down on ourselves sometimes that we're not doing better, but you got to realize, you got guys like Steve Carlson, one of the top NASCAR short track drivers of all time, and Ty Majeski, who's just lighting it up all over the place. That there's some stiff competition. You got Sean Paff, who was the track record holder for a while there, and so I'm fortunate, feel very fortunate to be able to rub elbows and get driver coaching lessons from these individuals. And we got hooked up with Toby Noodleman, who is one of the top crew chiefs in the country too. And so we were fortunate to be able to be with the individuals that we were, and it makes life easier for sure.
So now I know you and your dad are down here. You've got a small crew, a very good crew with your father, always good for a handshake and a smile. You're in a pretty hot corner right here where some of these late models are. Do you have guys ever wander over to Steve or Brad Powell or Sean and say, I'm just having a problem doing this, or, because you obviously can't study them on the racetrack because you're racing. You're on the same level. You can't study from elevated. Do you ever have conversations with these guys?
Oh, all the time. And that's the thing. We're from Minnesota, we'd call it the Minnesota Nice. Here in Wisconsin, obviously, it overflows. we've been fortunate that, the individuals that are here, it's a small community. We're all here for the same love and passion. And, if you start, taking people off and not willing to help, you don't have a class, you don't have any place to run. So, everybody's willing to help out everybody else to make sure we get a good show. And the other thing is we don't want people out there that don't have good equipment or don't know what they're doing and causing wrecks too. So, everybody's been very fortunate to help out, and obviously we've needed a lot of help. So it's been good. It's been really good, and I can't thank everybody enough for all the help they've given us, and everybody's willing to, you got a question, just ask.
Good news, too. Rick Wilson was telling us you live in Houston, Minnesota. A lot of people couldn't watch the show there. They had to watch it on YouTube. It's now over there, so you guys get to watch your own program.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Centec picked it up over there. I think it's channel 12 or something like that. So, yeah, that's nice that, now people from Minnesota can kind of follow. And, I was joking around before. I think Cam now is from La Crescent. But, prior to that, I was one of the lone Minnesotans over here. There's really not a lot of representation. And when we were running dirt, there was a lot of people from, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa all running together. But for whatever reason, it's a lot of Wisconsin people here. So I'm glad that kind of carries over the river and hopefully gets more people from Minnesota involved.
I think Chad Rosendahl was one of my only Minnesota guys for a while. Hey, before we let you go, as I do with every single driver, you don't have sponsors, you can't come out here and race, and I don't have a show. Let's talk about who's helping you out this year.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. We've got some good people behind us. Miller Scrap over in Winona, Minnesota. They're a big backer for us, fourth generation recycling over there. We've also got Brown Tire and Battery over in Rushford, Minnesota. So any tire, battery, car repair needs, glad to service you. Way More Transportation up in Fridley. That's actually a cousin of mine up there, and he's helped us out quite a bit. So, yeah, very fortunate to have good people behind us and backing us so we couldn't do what we're doing.
Another one of the great guys, the great storylines. I love the storylines behind some of these drivers. You never know what they do for full-time jobs, how they get into racing, and what they think about some of the people they race against. Justin Zmyewski, hey, I greatly appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
So I want to thank Justin Zmyewski and everybody that appeared on the show today. A lot of winners and a lot of good podium finishes for some first-time drivers and some drivers that have struggled this year that are getting the kinks worked out in their racing program. Next week, a lot to come. We're going to be heading to the Madison International Speedway. I'll be announcing Great Northern Sportsman Series and the Midwest Dash Series Friday night. They will be joining the Big 8 Series, so we hope you see a bunch of lacrosse people down in Madison. Till next week, I want to thank our sponsors, thank my producer Jesse for joining us as well. I'm Dan Dyker. Check us out on Facebook at Seven Rivers Racing, and also Saturdays from noon to 1 on WBOG. Cool Gold 1460. It's the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores Race Report with myself and Billy Docknells. You can find it on Facebook as well. Until next week, support your local short tracks. I'm Dan Dyker. See ya.